Welcome to today's episode of Global Voices in Focus, where we explore the rich tapestries of political history around the world. I'm your host, Sarah Hadley, and today we're diving deep into the political evolution of Ghana, the first African nation to gain independence in 1957. Ghana's journey is not just a story of triumph, but also one of deep challenges, development, and resilience. So get ready, grab your headphones, and let's embark on this journey together. Joining me on this journey is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, an expert on African political histories and Ghanaian studies. Welcome, Dr. Nkrumah.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be here and discuss the complexities of Ghana's political landscape.
Let's begin our story in 1957. Ghana stepped onto the global stage as a beacon of hope for many other African nations seeking independence. What made Ghana's independence significant?
Ghana's independence from British colonial rule was monumental, Sarah. It was not only the first such event in Africa, but also sparked a wave of decolonization across the continent. Decolonization refers to the process by which colonies gained independence from colonial powers. Ghana was seen as a kind of political laboratory, showcasing both the possibilities and pitfalls of this transition.
That's truly fascinating. But as we'll see, this initial euphoria didn't last long. By the 1980s, Ghana faced severe political and economic challenges. Can you walk us through some of these challenges?
Certainly. The excitement following independence eventually dwindled, transitioning into deep pessimism and cynicism by the 1970s. Ghana experienced 7 distinct regime changes between 1969 and 1982, a period marked by political instability and regime fragmentation. This instability often diverted the government's focus from development towards survival and coping mechanisms.
Let's dive into those regime changes, shall we? What were they, and what characterized this turbulent period?
Great idea. After Ghana's initial post-independence government, the National Liberation Council took power in 1966. It was all about preparing for a return to civilian governance, but faced serious roadblocks. Then from 1969 to 1972, the Second Republic emerged under a civilian government led by Kofi Buzia, which emphasized ethnic elitism. Ethnic elitism. That sounds like a complex issue. Can you explain what that means? Of course. Ethnic elitism refers to a system where certain ethnic groups or classes are prioritized over others in accessing power and resources. This created divisions and tensions within the country, contributing to the coups that followed. After Buzia's government was overthrown by Colonel Appiah-Thompson in 1972, Ghanaians entered a cycle of military rule.
And that cycle persisted, didn't it?
It absolutely did. The political landscape shifted repeatedly through various military councils until we reached the period of Jerry Rawlings, who initially came to power in 1979. His leadership was marked by a significant shift. He attempted to implement a provisional National Defense Council, facing rampant economic challenges and corruption.
Reflecting on this whole period, we can see a tapestry of challenges facing Ghana. Regime changes reflecting deeper institutional flaws. What role does institutionalization play in a country's political health?
Good question. Institutionalization refers to the development of stable patterns of organization and governance. In Ghana's case, it was not the absence of state structures, but rather the poor quality of these institutions, inherited from both colonial and post-colonial periods. This failure allowed individuals to exploit their positions of power without accountability, which left a vacuum that often led to coups and political unrest.
So it's a vicious cycle then. Poor institutions lead to poor governance, which leads to more instability. Let's talk about societal responses to these challenges. How did Ghanaians adapt during these trying times?
Ghanaians displayed remarkable resilience. They turned to various coping mechanisms as survival strategies. For example, during economic hardships, many families relied on informal markets. People established underground economies to barter goods and services, fostering community resilience even while the state struggled. This speaks to a very nuanced understanding of state-society relations.
That's an inspiring response amidst adversity. Now, can we circle back to the major turning points? What about the significant events during those years, like the 1978 referendum or the 1981 coup?
Absolutely. The The 1978 referendum is particularly interesting. It was an attempt to legitimize what was called the Union government, essentially a no-party constitution. Many Ghanaians were wary, and it ultimately failed. Fast forward to 1981. The coup led by Rawlings significantly altered the political landscape again and prompted a push for reforms.
These events we discuss may paint a grim picture, but they also open a door to learning from history. How can newer generations learn from Ghana's political past?
One of the key lessons is the importance of institutional integrity. Ghana's experience teaches us the consequences of neglecting governance structures. Additionally, it highlights the need for creating resilient societies capable of bouncing back from political upheaval. The dynamics of power and authority exhibited during this period reiterate the significance of ensuring that political institutions are holistic and biennial.
Holistic and biennial. That's powerful jargon. Could you break that down for our listeners?
Certainly, by holistic, I mean that political institutions should address the entirety of society and involve different social groups. And by biennial, I refer to the idea of being adaptable and responsive to changing circumstances, ensuring that governance evolves alongside societal changes for the future.
Thanks for making that clear. Before we wrap up today's episode, let's highlight the core concepts we've examined. We explored the evolution of Ghana's political landscape through independence into chaos, key historical lessons, and the resilience of its people. What insights do you want our listeners to take away?
The overarching insight is that politics is intricate and often messy. Understanding Ghana's journey provides not only a view of its unique history, but also a lens through which to examine wider African political contexts. It reinforces the idea that addressing historical legacies is critical for a resilient political future.
Such valuable insights. Thank you, Dr. Nkrumah, for shedding light on Ghana's political narrative. And thank you to our listeners for tuning into Global Voices in Focus. Remember, learning from history is a journey that helps build a better future. Until next time.